The commission back into session in a work session this time, and we will be hearing from the presentation on aquatic and recreation programs and projects. Mr. Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. Today we have before us a presentation on the Aquatics and Recreation Department. This comes before you at the request of Commissioner Shaw, who visited us during our open house event earlier this year and was so impressed with the work that's been ongoing at the pool and the ongoing recreation opportunities that we provide for the citizens of Oregon City. So today I have before us the Aquatics and Recreation Program Supervisor, Rochelle Anderholm-Parsh, and the Recreation Programmer, Melissa Tierney, to give us an update.
Okay. Good evening. Again, my name is Rochelle Anderholm-Parsh, and
I'm Melissa Tierney.
Okay. So thank you this evening for an opportunity to go over the last 10 years of our aquatic and recreation programs and our projects. Okay. Get this clicker here. So as we were putting this presentation together, we actually came across some original articles about one of Oregon City's first pools called the Tank. And it was built in 1936 for $15,000. And $2,500 was contributed by the city, and the remainder balance was through WPA funds. The original pool was built without a filtration system, which actually eventually led to its closure. And the Oregon City J.C.'s group did a survey of the community and found that the citizens believed that one of the most important recreation facilities that they could have would be a covered indoor facility, which led to a citizens committee that spearheaded the movement to build our current facility through a general obligation bond for $309,000. And that facility opened up in January of 1966. So as part of a master plan conducted in 2008, there was a pool facility assessment conducted, which identified projects that would keep the facility opening and functioning for the next 30 years. So with this evaluation, we and the community's desires to reinvest in our facility, that led us to prioritizing projects that we've conducted, and we based it on 3 different factors: safety, function, and last is priority, or aesthetics. Okay. So over the last 10 years, the city has invested over $1.8 million back into the aquatic facility. These next slides are before and afters of the site and how we've turned that site into a place where over 141,000 people visit annually. Okay, the original color of the pool exterior was a pink and blue, and that did extend into the interior as well. In 2010, we hired a professional painter to come in, paint the exterior and interior of the facility. And then in 2014, we addressed a safety concern and we replaced our curtain wall window system. And that also improved our energy efficiency as well as addressed an aesthetic concern. So over the last 52 years, the pool experienced very high use, causing the tiles to chip around the pool deck. The pool the pool deck became slick and slippery. So we added new pool tiles with a stainless steel wraparound. We put a slip-resistant polymer coating on the pool deck. We upgraded our slide to meet code compliance. And then in the upper right, that's an image of what the pool looked like after we conducted our curtain wall window system. And then we replaced our old acoustic tiles that were crumbling with new.
Nice.
Yeah, so we also had some pretty significant roof issues on the community room side of things. And there were slope issues which led to standing water. And so we addressed the roof issues. And while we were working on the roof, we replaced the old HVAC units with new. And then we moved inside the facility where there had been damage from the water leaks. And that part of the facility, the community room, was constructed in 1973. And part of that project, the contracting company actually went out of business halfway through the project, leading to some of the issues we later had to address. So while we were fixing the ceiling...
Are those asbestos tiles?
I'm sorry?
Were those the asbestos tiles?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so we went in, we ripped up the floor, we added floor joists, we redid the ceiling, we added new light fixtures, and then acoustic panels as well. So part of what's attached to our community room is a kitchen. And so we also had to go into that space and rip up the floor, add new floor joists. We replaced the counter, the laminate countertops, new appliances. And then the other thing we tried to do throughout the facility is paint to match a scheme throughout the whole facility. It's amazing what a little paint will do. Okay, so we also faced some safety issues with our hallways. The linoleum flooring, when it would get wet, became really slippery. We also had patches where part of it had peeled up over the years. So to address that safety concern, we added new commercial-grade carpet tiles, improved the look of the ceiling, and then again, we painted to match the color scheme throughout the facility. So this is a before of our hallway bathrooms, and the hallway bathrooms serve the community room side of the dry land of our facility. So it'd be our campers, any of our meetings that we hold there. And these stalls were also not ADA compliant. So we came in and remodeled these bathrooms in the hallway. We made them ADA compliant by replacing the partitions and adding an ADA compliant stall. We removed the countertops, added new fixtures, and then put in a slip resistant polymer coating on the floor. Okay, taking us to the front office of the facility. The space was not set up best for use of our staff or for individuals that were visiting the site. So we worked with an architect who helped us redesign the front office space that would allow for people to pass through, directly through if they weren't swimming, so they could go view water activities without having to walk through the locker rooms. The new countertop was ADA compliant, and then on the pool deck side of things, we added cubby holes for the convenience of our swimmers. We also experienced plumbing issues in our locker room. So while we were behind the walls fixing plumbing issues, we replaced our locker rooms with new tile, stainless steel fixtures, added the same coating throughout the facility. Our old rusted lockers, we replaced those with new. And then the bottom right is an example of our non-working hand washing station that we replaced with a new stainless steel hand washing station, and then again we painted to match the rest of the facility. So another one of the projects actually that I was the most excited about was adding 2 ADA compliant family changing rooms. So this is a picture of an office that we had off of the pool deck, and this is where our maintenance specialist had his office, and it had a bathroom in it. So what we did is we covered up the existing door, we moved it over, and then in the upper right where you can see where there's a window, we actually turned that into a door, used the existing plumbing to create 2 family changing rooms that were ADA compliant. So that's the inside of that space. Our next big project that we're dealing with, the timeline is September 1st through October 27th, is our concrete deck and steel column repair. So at the deck that's closest to the natatorium curtain wall window system has concrete integrity issues. So we went in to go make site repairs, and as we were trying to repair the different areas, we realized that under that polymer coating, the integrity issues were more extensive than we had realized. And then additionally, over the years, our steel columns had moisture issues, and you can see on the right there where water had settled at the bottom of these steel columns, causing them to corrode. So we brought in an engineer to evaluate the needs of this project, and it was decided that yes, it needs to be addressed sooner than later. So we took the project out to bid, and we issued an intent to award for $199,000, and then and that project is on the consent agenda for May 16th. Okay. So switching gears, talking a little bit about our aquatic and recreation programs. So because of all the facility upgrades and the staff, we think creatively, we try to figure out how to use the space, offer more programs and activities. This will be an example of what we've gone through the last 10 years, or the next 10 years. So, okay. So as you can see, our numbers have increased, our total visits, and this is due to increased memberships, punch cards, activities offered, swim lesson popularity and quality, patron incentive programs, and we have a better registration software. We've also seen an increase in our revenue, and our revenue actually has fluctuated due to the participation of our school swimming lesson program. So originally, it was about $60,000 revenue a year with a strong year of school swimming lessons. And over the years with school budget cuts, classroom time, some of the schools weren't able to participate. And in fact, one year we didn't have school swim lessons at all. And that program's slowly been growing again, but we had to be creative on how to bridge that revenue gap. So we added things like public swim lessons during the daytime, Mommy and Me classes, additional water exercise classes, recreation swim. This year, we're projecting that we'll bring in about $25,000 in our school swim lesson program. Our operating costs have increased, and contributing factor to that is due to the minimum wage increase, which we'll continue to see over the next 2 years. No matter what, we're still at 52% cost recovery, and the national average cost recovery for pools is 32%. So.
Okay, so for aquatic programs, our pool is being used between 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. Monday through Saturday, which is how we're able to reach that 141,000 people into our small box pool through creative programming. We offer a variety of different activities, and to accommodate the community needs, we're often offering multiple different activities at the same time. So we have our swimming lesson program, which includes our school swimming lessons, and we have our public swimming lessons, and then the last 2 years during the month of April, we added in adult learn to swim lessons for adults that never learned to swim and have a slight fear of the water. And then our lesson program is really important to us as it is a very important life skill for people to learn, and we're always trying to accommodate our wait lists for those. We have our drop-in activities, which includes our lap swim times, our water exercise classes, water walking, jogging classes, and then recreation and family swim times. We're the home to 4 different swim teams, which includes 1 club team that practices year-round, and then 3 school teams. And then we host special events throughout the year. So this year we had an annual Halloween event called Swamp Swim that we brought back in October. In January, we did our open house that showcased our facility upgrades and the different programs that we have going on. And then back in March, we had our first Easter egg hunt in the pool. So we threw eggs into the pool, and kids and family went and got the eggs and turned them in for candy and different prizes. And that received a lot of positive feedback. And we're going to do that again next year. So for our recreation programs, we have seasonal camps that we offer during winter break, spring break, and summer break. And then we offer different recreation fitness classes in our community room off to the side of the pool, which includes a couple different types of yoga classes, and then a high intensity interval training class that we just added. And we also have our indoor playground that we run throughout the school year on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. And then we have our Skyhawk sport programs, which we used to just offer programs during the summer, but this last year we added in fall, winter, and spring classes. And then we have our special events, which includes our concerts in the park, our movies in the park, and our annual daddy-daughter dinner dance. So for movies in the park, you guys can now go vote for what movies you want to see at this year's Movies in the Park event. We're going to be announcing the winning movies on June 5th. This year, we're going to be rotating the movies at different parks throughout the community. So on August 3rd, it'll be at Wesley Lynn Park. Then we'll move to Chapin Park on August 10th. On August 17th, it'll be at the end of the Oregon Trail Interpretive Center. And August 24th will be at Wesley Lynn Park. And this event gathers about 600 people a night, which a couple years ago was about 300 to 400 people a night. And then also, because of our sponsors, we've been able to solicit $2,000 to help cover the movie license fees for that. And then our concerts in the park, here's a sneak peek at the lineup for this year's summer concert series. We're very optimistic that we're gonna get about 3,000 to 5,000 people gathered here every night. And we have a lot of really great acts coming in. So we have tribute bands for Queen, Tom Petty, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and AC/DC. And then along with those, we're gonna have Curtis Salgado, the Beatniks, and as usual, we're gonna have Johnny Limbo and the Lugnuts ending the series for us. And then I also wanna take a moment to point out the sponsorship level that we were able to raise this year, as we've been able to triple it over the last 10 years. And that really comes from the support of all of the businesses and the community members throughout Oregon City that have provided us with that sponsorship.
Is
And-
paid parking new this year?
Yes, it is. And that's to help cover some of those increased fees with the bands that we're bringing in. And then we're also adding more security to the event as well. So it'll help cover the cost for that. And then we're really just overly excited about this year's event too, just to see like another summer of our community being able to gather. And then the Ermitanger House grand opening is happening July 7th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. this year, which we're really excited to be putting on this event, as it's going to be the first time this house will be open within the last 7 years. We really hope you guys can come to it. We're going to have music by Kathy Boyd and the Phoenix Rising. We have food by Big Red Events. Coin Toss Brewery is gonna come in and they're debuting a new beer called the Ermitanger Ale. And then we're gonna be doing a reenactment of the coin toss. And then we're just gonna have a bunch of like different games and activities and prizes to hand out, so.
Okay, so that leads us to our next subject, the aquatic and recreation staff. And so one of the things that we're very fortunate is to work with the team that we do. We support each other. We go out of our way to make sure that we help each other. We challenge ourselves. We want to think more creatively, build programs, and when we meet to brainstorm about the different ideas and things we want to do for the community, sometimes we have to stop and remember that we have one full-time manager and one full-time aquatic and recreation programmer, and then we also heard 53 part-time seasonal employees. So, which leads me to my next point. I'm just extremely proud of the staff, especially the aquatic staff, the way that they train hard, they work hard. The staff has to know how to do CPR, they train bloodborne pathogens, how to save a life using an automated external defibrillator, and they have to be experts in all water emergencies and rescues. And we train 1 to 2 times a year with Clackamas County Fire Department, and over the last 12 years, the staff has made 45 rescues. And so this year, we're actually going through an American Red Cross operation assessment. And that's where American Red Cross will come in and they're going to evaluate our policies and procedures to see if we're doing the best thing we can in the aquatic world. Another thing they're doing is they're bringing in something called a sneaker swimmer. So the swimmer will come in and create an incident while videotaping the incident, and we'll sit down with staff afterwards and talk about what we did well and how we could improve next time. So that's something that staff is excited and nervous for. So, yeah.
I assume that's a no-notice drill?
I'm sorry?
A no-notice drill?
It is. Yes, we'll know. And then, yeah.
Right.
Yep. So, and we've told them that could happen anytime between now and eternity. So that's just good. So, one of the things we always remember in everything that we do is go team. And I've been known to cheer that at meetings and in services quite frequently. So, yeah. That concludes our presentation. At this point, and thank you for your time today and being advocates for Parks and Recreation. And are there any questions?
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Well, I'm a fan of the indoor playground. I take my grandchild there. It's well run. I'm also a fan of concerts in the park and a supporter of it. And I know we raised the rates on parking, which is good. And from a business perspective, though, if I went back a couple slides, we've got a growing disparity between our growing expenses and our income. Do we have the plan in place to cover that? If you go back a few slides, you'll see, I mean, our volume is up, whatever it is, like 30%, but there's also an increase in costs. If you go back to that slide, if it's one before the aquatic center.
Yeah.
And you and I have you talked before, and I'm very impressed with the quality of your work, and I'm a supporter, but I want to ask that question. So if you can go back a couple slides. We've got a gap. Do we have the funding to support that gap? Or do we have a plan in place to generate the funding?
Yeah,
No, go ahead.
Do you want to see that again, that slide? Because it gives you hard numbers.
yeah. I think we're having ongoing conversations about that. I know that it's item that Phil has brought up in our meetings, and this year, following a policy, we're raising our admission and rental rates to offset some of those increased costs. And we're continually being creative on how to bridge that gap as far as like different programs. And part of the operation costs, where we're seeing some of the expenses are in the minimum wage area. And so on our end, what we're trying to do is be creative as far as staffing and how do we essentially trim the fat in that area where, but still have a safe pool. So being mindful of those increases. And then, yeah, and then there are some increases as far as utilities, and those are some things that will fluctuate back and forth, so, yeah.
Yeah, we've got an increase in revenue of about 85,000, but we've got an increase in expenses of about 110, which isn't a great disparity. It sounds recoverable.
Yeah. And we're doing everything we can too to think creatively and try to be in that upper, my goal is to try to be at that 55, 56 cost recovery range, and it fluctuates every year based on our facility closures and just different items that would affect that, but yeah, we've had strong cost recovery.
It's a good facility and it's well run, thank you.
I would like to highlight the job that they're doing on a regular basis to keep the facility programmed. One of the trends in the aquatic industry is really more of the active water park, kind of lazy rivers, big swirly slides, things like that, that the pool obviously does not have. And with that come challenges to draw, a population that has, become used to that type of amenity. So the type of programming that they've been able to do in a somewhat static rectangular pool has been very admirable, particularly looking at the cost recovery percentages that they get compared to the national averages.
Quite honestly, with Oregon's winters, any pool in the storm is worthwhile. And the indoor playground is phenomenal. I mean, for active youth in the winter, you got to take them somewhere. That's well done.
Oh, great, yeah, thank you.
And thanks to you, I purchased a number of Step 2 toys.
Oh, good.
Because I know how bulletproof they are.
Mr. Wright, you got anything?
Just really impressed with all the
Yeah, me too.
improvements.
Mr. Shaw?
So, as Mr. Lewis pointed out, this kind of came about, I kind of suggested this, and I didn't realize it was going to come to this, but having kind of been in and out of that building over the years, and then I saw everything that this department has done in that building, I said, you know what? You need to have an open house here. The public needs to come in and see what this is. This is their asset here. And so they had an open house and had it well attended for that. And then we said, you need to bring it to the city commission too, to see what all is happening there. And it's very impressive, all the work. And, you talk about having 50-some kids going to be there in a little while that you get to oversee. People don't realize that what all these folks do. So, and I think the final thing is, Mr. Lewis, he could have come in and done this presentation. But one thing I appreciate about him and the rest of our directors here, they allow their managers to come in and take ownership and do these presentations, so we get to know these folks too. So, hats off to you, Phil, for doing that too. So, and all the work you've done here. So, great presentation, guys. Okay.
Yeah, it was a great presentation, and I think one of the things that these numbers don't show is the number of kids that are still alive today because they learned how to swim. I learned how to swim in this pool. So,
Or this one?
huh? This pool. Okay.
He's the reason they closed down the original.
I'm glad I went that way this time. That was cool.
Well, I could all right, I can take it. So I just think,
I can. There you go, Tony.
I just think it's real important that we not totally monetize this thing because, you know,
It's a great
there are a
asset.
lot of kids going forward that will not drown in a lake or in a river or some other place because they learned this one very important life skill. And so congratulations, the pool looks great. You guys have done great work. Congratulations, Mr. Lewis. Thank you for your time.
No, I'd just like to add one quick thing. I had the opportunity to go down when they do some of their training for their lifeguards. And so we've got to remember, these are high school kids coming in to be our lifeguards here. And they go through a great partnership with Clackamas County Fire to come in and teach those life-saving skills. So just hats off to managing, as Commissioner Shaw said, the staff that we have that we utilize for our lifeguards down there. But then as part of that life-saving skills are those skills that these lifeguards are picking up for using the defibrillators and mouth-to-mouth and all those water rescue techniques. So a lot goes into making sure that we have a safe facility like that.
So just one other suggestion is maybe you can get with your neighbors across the street and turn this into maybe a short 15-minute video that they could run on Willamette Falls Media.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's really nice.
No, yeah, good.
Yeah.
Free advertising.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Anything else from good of your order? We're adjourned.